The reason I brought up the selfish gene in this lecture is because we're going to talk about it frequently. It is a great place to stand when looking at nature. It helps us to understand things like reproduction. So for example, reproduction can happen in one of two ways. There is asexual and then sexual. The selfish gene is basically an idea that says that genes want to replicate. Or they don't want to, they just do by their nature, right? So they replicate. In asexual replication, you get 100%. It is cloning. You get 100% of the gene transferred to the next generation. So through asexual reproduction, if you have 3 kids, that gene has not only made it to the next generation, but has also amplified to 300%. And in sexual reproduction, you sacrifice half of your DNA for a partner's DNA. And so if you have 3 children, it's 50% each. And so that would only be 150%, right? So then the question is, why would the selfish gene elect for sex instead of asexual? Wouldn't you think that the greater amplification would serve the selfish gene? Well, it turns out that sex has a great advantage. So in asexual reproduction, you might make 5 children that are all the same as you, but in sexual reproduction, you're going to make more difference. You're going to make more variety. And because there's this thing called recombination and independent assortment, which we talked about in biology. So in sexual reproduction, the mix of 2 people's DNA is going to create greater variety. And so if natural selection comes in and applies a selective pressure that destroys all the blue dots here, that will kill all the asexual organisms' offspring, but only kill one of the sexuals. So sexual reproduction, although there's a sacrifice of 50% in amplification, they tend to do better in nature because of the increased ability to respond to change. We're also going to talk about it in optimal foraging strategy. We're going to talk about how the gene designs us to be lazy. Our selfish genes are set up for the past, as I've said before. And in the past, it paid to be lazy. Spend the least amount of energy possible while gaining the most possible. That is one of the laws of nature. We have to fight that. We have to fight our selfish genes today because, again, we stopped evolving a long time ago to any big extent. We stopped evolving when we started growing our own food and we started building dwellings together and we started living in big communities. We overcame most of nature's selective pressures, and so we just stayed the same. We are still set up genetically for a past in which we had to optimally forage. Now we have to fight that. We have to actually exercise, go to the gym, watch our diet. Right now I'm starving. I want to go in the fridge and I just want to carbo load. I want to steal all of my roommate bought like 3 cases of like Ho-Hos and tasty cakes, the peanut butter ones with chocolate. They're in the fridge staring me in the face right now. And I just want, my selfish gene is just like, dude, just go eat it. It'll be good for you, man. Just a little taste, please. My selfish genes are begging me right now to go steal that food. But I'm not going to do that because I know I have to fight those urges, because that is a selfish gene thought from an earlier time in my evolutionary past, right? So being aware of your selfish gene controlling you is one of the best ways to be one of the highest levels of animals that you can be. It's, in my opinion, what makes someone truly human is their ability to fight those kind of urges. So then is altruism. We're going to talk a lot. We just talked a little bit about that. So kindness, why would the selfish gene, being selfish, elect to be kind? And then we're going to talk about it in populations. So how we treat each other and how the selfish gene influences the way that we work as groups and stuff like that. So anyway, anytime we talk about any particular organism, especially bees, we will be referring to the selfish gene a lot. So yes, it is something worth going over now. I hope this was entertaining and not too long-winded. That will be it for today. So just, if you would, I haven't asked a question in a while here. Why don't you just tell me what you've thought of this lecture?